Hello and welcome to A Homily for All. This is a page where we will discuss the week's gospel and see how it still has meaning for us some 2,000 years later. Today we'll look at the gospel from January 31st. It is from the book of Mark, chapter 1, verses 21 to 28. Previously we saw Jesus recruiting the followers who would become his apostles. This week is perhaps the first time we get to see Jesus taking his words to the next level. I believe this to be the first time in Mark's Gospel that Jesus went to a synagogue, which is a Jewish house of assembly and worship, to preach to the people there. This is the first time we see Jesus asserting himself as an authority over those who were considered to be the human authorities of preaching God's word. Jesus knew that he was the only one who was an actual authority, and he preached as such. It was a risk, to be sure. The Pharisees and the Sadducees were considered the two predominant Jewish sects at the time. And here was this outsider rocking the cradle. Jesus didn't care about rocking their cradle. His purpose was to be there for all people, not just the religious elite of his time. We still have radical religious groups today, and this gospel also speaks to them, but I'm not going to give those radicals the time of day. As an everyday person, I want to help everyday people. And this gospel reading speaks to everyone. What I would like to do here is focus on the actions of Jesus and our own actions in our own lives. Jesus knew he was speaking the truth, but it still took a lot of guts to stand up and preach. How often in our own lives do we stand up for what we know is the truth? How often do we challenge authority when we know the path that they are pushing is the wrong one? It is true that in a work environment, this can cause problems, but unfortunately, not just the supervisor falls, but the entire team when something is done that is not correct. In our own personal lives, how often do we follow a path that in our hearts we know is a path that will lead to failure? I don't have a type A personality, so I know I have been led down the wrong path a number of times, mostly for the benefit of the people I was blindly following. When Jesus preached, he was not looking for people who would blindly follow him. He was looking for people that would make up their own minds and make their own decisions based upon the guidelines that he taught. For us, I imagine he would want us to follow his words, to decipher for ourselves whether we are on the right track. My question to you: what or whose track are you on? Thank you for listening. If you like this video, please like it, please subscribe, and I'll see you next week.